Welcome to the Flag Pack. It's Termex here, and welcome back to another Borderlands 3 build video. And today, we're going to be going over the Unseen Predator build for Flak, and this build mainly revolves around the unseen threats. It's probably been a while since you heard of the name of this sniper, but I believe it is back, and it's still ready for Mayhem 10. Of course, this is a Mayhem 10 build, so I'm very excited to show you guys this, but before we get into it, make sure you subscribe if you're new to the channel, leave a like on the video, and make sure you hit that bell so you don't miss out on any future Mayhem 10 build videos for Flak. But into this build itself, I first discovered this build after I made my Doom Sickle build that kind of had mixed reactions. Some of you loved that build, some of you didn't like it. But one thing that's clear, guys, my builds, they are meant to be unique. They're meant to be different. I'm not trying to have the same cookie cutter builds that every YouTuber has. So you got to cut me a little slack when I make something out of the ordinary or something no one's ever seen. That's just because what I love to do. I like to make the type of builds no one has seen. And when you try the build, I want you to have fun, but I still want you to kill enemies at the same time. But now that that's out of the way, the unseen threats. This gun is from DLC 2, unfortunately, so if you don't have any DLC, you will not be able to use this. But I believe it's a very fun gun, it's still very good on Flak, and it's still very viable. But let's kick things off into the Hunter skill tree. We're going to be putting 5 points in Interplanetary Saga for the bonus damage, and we get that 10% damage per kill. That stacks up to 3 times. We have Leave No Trace because the unseen threat does not have this naturally built into it, so it'll be nice to save a little bit of sniper ammo. 2 out of 5 in Hunter's Eye just so we can get the extra bonuses and proceed further into the tree. 3 out of 3 on head count so we can get our action skill back on critical hits. We do have a shotgun to help get this back a lot quicker. 5 out of 5 in a 2 Fang. Ours is 7 out of 5. There's a reason behind this. I'll explain it later into the build. 3 out of 3 into the big game so we have double the Hunter skill duration and plus 30% effects. 3 out of 3 into the most dangerous game so we can have the bonus gun damage and crit damage after killing a badass. 1 point into Galactic Shadow for the extra crits. And finally, 1 point into Megavore, so we can hit that critical hit chance and proc this weapon's special ability, even if we don't hit him in the head or if we're outside of fadeaway. Over into the Stalker tree, we do have 5 out of 5 in Furious Attack, so we can get the more gun damage when we shoot enemies. 5 out of 5 in our self-repairing systems for the health regeneration and the max health. 4 out of 5 in Eager to Impress, so when we get a kill, we're going to shave a second off of our action skill cooldown time. 3 out of 3 in the Turntail and Run for the extra gun damage and fire rate while standing still, plus we get that damage reduction and health regeneration while running. 1 out of 1 in Lick the Wounds, of course, that's a staple Flak Pack perk. Gotta get Lick the Wounds, one of the main things, so your pet can revive you. It'll help you a lot in the battle, it'll help you a lot in combat, and will save you a lot of frustration when post-mortem likes to kick you in the ass. 3 out of 3 into the Fast and the Furious for the extra movement speed and gun damage when we are above half health. 4 out of 5 in Rage and Recover for the extra health regeneration after we get a kill. And finally, the Power Inside Capstone. When we activate our action skill, we'll get 25% bonus damage for 15 seconds. And of course, if we are at full health, that will increase up to 50%. And for the Master Tree, we are going to be putting 3 points into Persistence Hunter for the extra gun damage and action skill duration. The 1 point into Go for the Eyes is just from the class mod. It has no effect on the build. Don't put a point into here. As for the fadeaway setup, I went with normal fadeaway along with Until You Are Dead and Unblinking Eye. Unblinking Eye is going to increase our critical hit damage, and Until You Are Dead is going to give us health regeneration and movement speed. As for the pet, I went with the Gunslinger Jabber because movement speed and critical hit damage are going to be very beneficial with a Jacob Sniper, and the Spider Ant Scorcher isn't going to offer many elemental benefits because that's not the type of damage we are relying on. As for the Guardian rank, of course, it's going to be disabled for the purpose of this build, so you guys can see the true strength of it. There's no overkill benefits, no other elemental benefits. It's just a raw, pure damage of this build. So like I said before, if you have no Guardian rank, it's going to perform exactly how it's shown in this video. But if you decide to have all your Guardian rank perks enabled, it's going to be 10 times better. Over to the Mayhem Modifiers, we are of course on Mayhem 10, and I'm rocking out with Loot Explosion because that's actually kind of a very good thing for Flak. 99% of your kills on Flak are going to be crit kills, so you're getting a lot of loot to help you out in the combat. Healy Avenger, pretty self-explanatory, just heals the enemies. Pool Party, when enemies die, they drop certain corrosive, shock, incendiary pools. This can actually be beneficial if you're using a Transformer shield, which is actually pretty cool. And finally, we have Post-Mortem. Post-Mortem is probably the dumbest of the bunch, but out of all of the very hard modifiers, this is the only one I could stomach. All of the rest either piss me off or affect my build entirely, but of course, none of these modifiers are going to affect our crit damage, our gun damage, action skill damage, nothing. They are neutral. But as for the gear setup, we do have the Unseen Threat with a 300% ASE against 90% health. Now this is kind of a needed role with this sniper. Of course, with Mayhem 10 scaling, we have the whole scaling issues and not every gun's viable, but this role makes this gun way more than viable. Of course, having this kind of anointment on a sniper is going to make it awesome, but especially with this sniper, because the 3 projectiles that pop out of the sniper are going to be getting that anoint benefits, and it's actually pretty cool. It does a lot of damage. And we do have a reflux, which is going to help get ourselves fadeaway back when we need it, so you don't have to be precise when you're outside of fadeaway. You already have to be precise in fadeaway, so I don't want you to kind of do both. The reflux is a new shotgun that came with Mayhem 2.0, and it is actually very, very good. Think of it as a brainstormer, but it's corrosive. If you can't get this, get the brainstormer. It's basically the same thing. And as for your third gun, of course, we have the yellow cake. This is just needed for second wins. If you really want to use it on bosses, you can go ahead. But if you want a yellow cake boss build, I made my own version of that on my channel. You can check that out whenever you would like. But this is mainly for the second wins. As for the shields, we do have a transformer with the incendiary ASE. This is just so when we have pool party active, we can heal from the transformer. Plus, we're going to be getting bullets back as we're getting shot at. As for the grenade, of course, with the It's Piss, I'm going to be rocking with that for the 20% increased damage, and I do have a cryo ASE on it as well. As for the relic, we went with the Pearl for 2 reasons. 1, you're going to be stacking up a lot of damage with your reflux, and 2, if you keep hitting your hits with your Unseen Threat, this will stack up. Plus, the fire rate and the magazine size is very helpful as well. As for the class mod, we went with a Deadeye class mod. I have not used a Deadeye comm in the longest of time on my channel, but this is the perfect time to use it because we're going to be getting sniper damage and Jacob's weapon crit damage, and that is of course what the Unseen Threat is. Plus, we get the bonus benefit that we deal 35% additional damage against enemies that have above 75% health, so that's going to work in unison with our 300% ASE. And that basically means we're going to be one-shotting a lot of enemies. But yeah, that is enough talking. Let's show this in game. Now, like I said before, Two Fang is going to be a big part of this build because, of course, we have 7 points in the Two Fang, which is going to give us the 35% chance to shoot 2 pellets. And when we shoot 2 pellets, we're actually shooting 6 missiles upon a crit hit. And the more missiles we have going out, the more damage we're going to be doing, which is awesome. Now, the main thing you want to do with this build is try to get that one-shot kill on your first shots. Because if you can't get that one-shot kill on your first shot, it's going to be a little bit slower shooting the enemies. As you see, we don't have our action skill. Pop open the reflux, and you're going to see our action skill bar filling up basically instantly. Now, one thing that's always been a problem with this weapon is the freaking projectiles like to go wherever they want sometimes, and there's nothing you could really do about it. Sometimes they just go where they want, and it's just pure luck at that point. And it kind of doesn't excel when it comes to smaller enemies. When it comes to like the tinier enemies, it's harder for these projectiles to find their targets, which is very annoying. But once you can get them to hit their target, you're going to be doing insane amount of damage. So I quickly switch over into Athena so I can show you guys an example of how the pellets travel. I want to show you guys on some heavyweights, and there's no heavyweights in the DLC area. But I want to show you guys what happens when you shoot heavyweights. Now, it's kind of weird. Sometimes your projectiles are going to hit them perfectly, but other times they're just absolutely going to do nothing at all. So, you see this heavyweight right here, we're going to shoot him in his crit spot, and the projectiles flew to the commando. Now, granted it almost killed the commando, I hate postmortem so much, but granted it didn't kill the commando, didn't kill the heavyweight, it still almost killed the commando, and that's not even what we were going for. And that's actually kind of cool. That's one of the things the Unseen Threat can do. Again, now we have our fadeaway, we're going to shoot this little guy on the head glitch. You need to play a lot less Call of Duty, sir. And all the projectiles actually hit him that time. That was actually cool to see. And all the projectiles hit that heavyweight. So when you see all the projectiles hit, that is a good sign. And like I said before, precision is going to be required with this build. Some builds require precision, and this is one of those builds. Because if you're not hitting crits and you're not hitting good parts of the body, you're not going to be doing damage. And that's just how it's going to roll. But of course, I'm not doing too well of a job showing the reflux getting our action skill back. But here's pool party procking on our transformer. We are basically invincible. Just to show you guys that. Very useful thing to do. It looks like we can do about 4 or 5 shots. Still pretty good damage. Now, postmortem is obviously going to be like the most annoying thing in the world. So I'm just going to ignore him and keep going on with our run. But yeah, I haven't seen many people talk about the Unseen Threat as of lately. And as I said before, the options for Mayhem 10 builds are being limited. But I'm still going to grind through it. I'm still going to get some builds out, some unique builds that you guys can try out. And I think this Unseen Threat build is kind of fun. It's very enjoyable to play with. And it's something new. It's something refreshing. It reminds me back of pre-Mayhem 2.0 days, as sad as that is to say, but I like it. All these enemies are together, so let's try to get our action skill back once again. There we go. That easy to get it back. And you're back in the fadeaway doing all the damage you need to. Alright, we have quite a few enemies grouping up over here, so we're going to get our action skill back. Alright, all those chains are going off, so we're good. And then, boom. We're just going to kill all the people that we see. Just aim for the head. Aim for the head and everything will die. Ooh, that guy did not have a fun time. But I'm glad to see Sniper Flak is still a viable option in Mayhem 10. I do want to see the Skull Masher in action. I'm trying my best to get my hands on one. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you did, please make sure you leave a like on it, as it helps me out quite a bit. And subscribe if you're new. And if you want to join that Flak Pack Discord, link will also be in the description below, so you guys can get all my PC save files. We have trade chats. We have all that good stuff. But yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys have a terrific day. And me and King Mong will see you guys later.